Good evening, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selena, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music.
In the news tonight, mandatory life sentence for Timothy Lolohe. Climate finance to be treated with urgency. And anomalies in Education Ministry's 2016 audit report.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
56-year-old Timothy Lolohe has been sentenced to a mandatory life imprisonment by the Suva High Court for murdering his de facto partner last year. Lolohe will serve a minimum of 18 years before he can be considered for a pardon by the president. Anna Ravulo has more.
Sentencing Timothy Lolohe today, High Court Judge Justice Saleh Sitiamo said there was absolutely no need for Lolohe to kill his de facto partner, 22-year-old Eleanor Ndidovi. Justice Temo said that there were options that Lolohe could have taken after knowing about Ndidovi's affair, but he chose murder. He said Lolohe will now have to pay the price for the choices he made. Lolohe and Ndidovi started having a relationship when she was 18 years old and he was 51 years of age. The two had a relationship for 5 years and had a daughter together. Lolohe was convicted for murdering his de facto partner on March 20th at Nasilivata Road in Nandero last year. Ndidovi was stabbed 12 times. He has 30 days to appeal. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
Fiji Times editor-in-chief Fred Wesley told the Suva High Court today he had no input in the publication of the Nailalakai article, for which he and writer Chosai Wangambada, Nailalakai editor Anare Ravula, and Fiji Times publisher Hank Arts have been taken to court for. He said he also has difficulty reading and understanding Itauke as he comes from a Ratuman background, and had he known what was written in the paper, he would have referred it to the company's lawyers and decided accordingly whether to publish the article or not. Catherine Krishna reports.
Fiji Times editor-in-chief Fred Wesley said editors of different newspapers printed under the Fiji Times umbrella are entrusted with the capability and responsibility to decide for themselves as to what goes in the paper. Wesley told the court he did not receive the letter from the first accused, Josiah Wangambada, had no knowledge of the letter, did not see the letter at any given time, and neither did he authorize for the letter to be printed in the Itauke edition, Nailalakai. He told the court he first found out about the letter when he was arrested and taken in for questioning by the police weeks after the letter was published. Wesley's counsel, Mark Collett, said the prosecution had assumed the editor of the Nailalakai had prepared a draft which was submitted to Wesley to check before it was printed, but this was not the case. Wesley also stated 4 different newspapers, which are the Fiji Times, Shanti Dood, Nailalakai and the Sunday Times, are printed under the Fiji Times umbrella. He adds each editor from the different section of the newspaper is responsible for the content which is printed. He also told the court the Fiji Times follows the code of conduct and the media decree, so they do not print articles which may cause hatred or violence against Fijians. Wesley says if editors from the different papers had any difficulty with any article, they would then discuss it with him. He says letters to the editors' sections were probably read, and if editors saw a need for discussions with him, then they would do so. He said they also consulted the help of their company lawyer whenever there was a need. It's alleged the Fiji Times published an article on April 27, 2016, which could have caused ill will and hostility between the population of Fiji, particularly the Muslims and the non-Muslims. The trial continues tomorrow. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says countries must, as a matter of urgency, increase the pool of finance available for mitigation and adaptation to climate change. Speaking at the long-term climate finance workshop in Bonn, Germany, the COP23 president says they must also ensure this finance actually flows. Ritika Pratap reports.
Developed countries have put forward a roadmap to raise $100 billion annually for climate-related projects in developing nations, and this target must be achieved by 2020 at the latest.
This includes ensuring that conditions exist for private sector investment to flow in a way that allows rapid transformation of our countries in line with our NDCs. Because all around us is evidence that the threat to the peoples and economies of vulnerable nations is increasing year by year.
The Prime Minister says we must also step up the expertise of the private sector to develop new and innovative means to increase climate finance.
We need to mainstream financial instruments like green bonds and climate bonds, mobilize the use of concessional finance, sovereign guarantees, and risk transfer products, and draws on the trillions of dollars in pension funds, which are looking for new ways to invest as they cut fossil fuel investment from their portfolio.
Fiji is the first emerging economy in the world to launch the sovereign green bond dedicated to investments and climate mitigation and adaptation projects at the London Stock Exchange. Bainimarama urged all developed countries to support developing countries, especially those with no real financial means, to gain immediate access to climate finance. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Anomalies have been recorded in the 2016 Auditor General's report of the Education Ministry for the building grant that was given to 72 schools affected by TC Winston. The report highlighted issues of administration, particularly filing of reports, monitoring of fund disbursement at school levels, and absence of signed agreements. Rachel Nath reports the ministry's books were scrutinised by the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee today.
The issue of these anomalies surfaced due to the shortfall of the ministry's district education officers and the asset monitoring unit.
Management would have to request for building grant assistance. However, in the past, some of those SOPs were not followed because funds were directed to the rehabilitation of TC Winston works in the affected schools. And as such, some of the grants were given out according to instructions that were received from high authorities.
To ensure these errors are not repeated, additional procedures have been put in place.
So this was launched in 2017, whereby it has got both administrative functions as well as financial functions of the school. Like the chair initially mentioned, in terms of school managers not fully aware in terms of their roles or in terms of how they could administer grant. Then we have had training in all districts.
The report recommends the ministry ensure the unit and district officers verify and inspect the construction of school buildings which have been completed. They must also obtain statements from recipients of the grant to ensure all funds are properly accounted for. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
An internal investigation into harassment claims made by employees against other staff members of the World Food Programme in Fiji is at its early stages. The WFP says the investigation will be led by specialist investigators and conducted through the Office of WFP's Inspector General in line with the UN policy. Osnat Lubrani, resident coordinator of the United Nations in Fiji, says relevant staff members have been temporarily removed from their duties while investigation is ongoing. Lubrani says administrative measures have been taken to ensure operational continuity under an officer in charge. The World Food Programme this year strengthened its policies to stamp out abusive conduct, address the issue of the underreporting, and build a workplace culture that ensures all employees are treated with dignity and respect. Still to come, TLTB sets up a new panel of surveyors. And herbal medicine, not the solution to breast cancer. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kami na sumbuti ko lang, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya ako sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu kena sebalik, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.
A A 5-member panel of surveyors has been set up by the Itauke Land Trust Board to assist in the surveying of non-surveyed Itauke land leases. TLTB General Manager Tevita Kurvakandua has confirmed this will streamline the land survey processes and provide proper lease security to tenants who wish to develop their land. Savaira Tambor with more details.
All cadastral surveys showing the extent, the value and ownership of land as well as other land surveys services required for Itauke land will now be undertaken by the panel of surveys.
When the lease has to be surveyed, we will ensure that we give the right instructions, surveying instructions to the surveyor, and we will give him a timeline to carry out the surveying, and also we will monitor their work to ensure that they fully comply to the surveying instructions given to them.
Cadastral Fiji principal and owner Manoj Sharma, one of the selected surveyor in the panel, says the first step is to ensure tenants who will lease the Itauke land have acquired the agreement for leases.
The agreement for leases are strong agreements between the TLTB and the tenants to state that they are exchanging their land, which is still in an undeveloped status, and that land will be developed, surveyed and planned by the tenants by engaging professionals like us, so that it can be ultimately registered and a full Itauke lease, 99-year lease, would be issued to them.
The survey of all Itauke land leases is an integral part of the TLTB. Kurvandua also highlighted previously some surveyors had problems interpreting the instructions and did not do what was required of them. Savaira Tambua, FBC News.
Most Itauke women diagnosed with breast cancer are turning to traditional or herbal medicine treatment. However, this has failed in several cases. CWM Hospital consultant surgeon Dr. Chosese Turangava says many of these women return to hospital with far worse conditions. Kelly Vadala reports.
There's an alarming increase of Itauke women presenting themselves with breast cancer at hospitals around the country, and most of them at critical stages.
Most of the ladies that have been treated with breast cancer, particularly the Itauke group, have all been through 3 or 4 traditional healers and have drank a lot of different medicine. But for most of them, they've come back because the traditional medicine hasn't worked. It's a real procrastination on our part to be wasting time trying to go through medicine that hasn't worked.
The Fiji Cancer Society says women diagnosed with breast cancer often live in fear and find difficulty receiving treatments in hospitals.
Well, basically, with our Itauke women, they find it difficult because, one, they don't have the social support or more the family support. 2 is the finance. 3 is the stigma. 4 is the obligation, the family obligation.
Meanwhile, many Fijians shared their opinions on treatments considered for those diagnosed with cancer.
Taking herbal medicine, I think there is no proper prescription for it.
I think those who are diagnosed with cancer should strictly follow the advice from hospital and not to take any herbal medicine because it doesn't help at all.
I think they should take herbal medicine because it cures them faster.
Women around the country are urged to take a bold step and visit health centers and hospitals to be screened for breast cancer and get medical attention if needed. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Some students of Ratu Kandavu Level School in Tailevu have been taken in for questioning in relation to the alleged corporal punishment case involving their school principal. As investigations continues, Chief of Intelligence ACP Vakadengu Tonduandua says they are trying to gather more information on the case. Earlier this year, a female teacher who is also the wife of the school principal tried to stop the students from vandalizing the school wall when the students allegedly swore at her. It's alleged the principal tried to discipline the group by allegedly applying corporal punishment, and the matter was reported to police. ACP Tonduandua says the investigation is expected to be completed by the end of the week, and the file will then be transferred to the Office of the Director Public Prosecution. It's believed the school principal has also been stood down pending investigation. Hundreds turned up at Sukuna's Suva Sukuna Park to support the Fiji Red Cross Society celebrating World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day. Fiji Red Cross Society Marketing and Event Manager Bridget Middenway Blumel says the theme for this year is called A Smile. a universal sign of happiness. She says they celebrate the bravery and achievements of volunteers and their staff on this day.
So with Red Cross, we are here to bring smile to their faces. We're here to bring them back together, families together. And that's why we celebrate. And we also celebrate to acknowledge and thank the staff and the volunteers, because without the volunteers, you know, there's a lot of things that won't be possible.
In sports later with Jamie, flying Fijian hooker attacked while on duty. But for now, we join Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up, Fiji Airways to trial cashless transactions at New Zealand airports. And in growing Fiji, first ever coffee shop for bar residents. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1, इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तो हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
In business tonight, Fiji Airways has announced it will trial cashless transactions at the Wellington International Airport and Christchurch International Airport. From Thursday, the national airline will trial accepting major credit and debit cards or ANZ EFTPOS cards only for airport desk transactions, including new ticket purchase, business class upgrades, lounge access, extra legroom seat, up front seats, quiet zone and excess or oversized baggage fees. Fiji Airways currently operates 15 flights a week between New Zealand and Fiji, which includes 3 weekly services between Christchurch and Nandi. And we now join Rocco from HFC Bank with the latest from the financial market.
Thank you. Let's see what's making headlines in the financial markets. Australia's centre-right government is expected to announce a hefty health and infrastructure spending and deliver some voter-sweetening tax cuts in the annual budget today. They also released their monthly retail sales data, which was at 0.6%, an increase of 0.5% from the previous release. The Kiwi has been mostly flat from yesterday, with markets subdued due to holidays in the UK, and London traders out enjoying a bank holiday Monday for early May. The U.S. consumer credit change data released last night indicated a fall in consumer borrowing by U.S. $2.02 billion from the previous $13.64 billion. But later tonight is the U.S. federal speech, followed by the Australian budget release. So we will wait to see how these announcements will impact our Fiji dollar currency basket in the morning. And that's all from me for now. Vinaka.
Thanks, Rocco. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar lost ground against most of the currencies we cover, gaining only against the Australian and the euro. As for the commodities market, it was a mixed day with oil prices closing up a little over $70 a barrel. Gold closed down at $1,316 an ounce, and silver closed at $16.48 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, Bar's first ever coffee shop is open to the public. My Life Cafe, which was only opened a few days ago, is now the town's center of attraction for a wide spectrum of Fijians living in Bar. Filipina Caso has more.
It's certainly something different for this soccer-crazy town, as residents now don't have to travel far to enjoy a cup of coffee or a cold drink.
It was natural for me to try and start something in my hometown, only because I'm comfortable with the area and I know people, so I'm sure that it would give me the boost that I need.
Despite Bar Town infamously known for floods, this has not deterred freelance journalist and entrepreneur Nazia Ali in giving back to her hometown.
How about I turn it around? I think of how I can, avoid more damages than it would have happened by planning smartly. So all our furniture can be picked up and moved to the mezzanine floor that we have.
The cafe, which also serves a wide range of sandwich, cakes and even their signature cold juice, has seen people from all walks of life wanting to try it out. Nazia has invested around $50,000 to set up My Life Cafe, creating employment opportunities for 4 bar residents. Philip and Icaso, FBC News.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening in sports tonight. Lautoka football depart for Champions League final. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिजरेटर से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
Five overseas-based rugby players have declared their interest with Fiji Sevens coach Gareth Baber for the Rugby World Cup Sevens in July. Baber says while these stars could be great inclusions, a place in the World Cup team is yet to be confirmed. Vasnil Prasad with the details.
So, they've all been contacted. It's really to see sort of where they're at, any injuries they're carrying, what their fitness would be like, and obviously their availability to come back into a sevens environment. Nico Matawalu is another individual who I've talked to as well, because I know of his qualities as a player, having coached against him and seen him play. So, yeah, there's a few obviously players out there that would look good as a coach, or as you want to see the players develop within tournament and from tournament to tournament. And when we've been put under pressure, these boys have shown how quickly they've learned, and just the qualities that they are displaying obviously is giving us the victory.
Despite its unbeaten run so far, the Northland rugby side is taking all precaution as they prepare to face Mboa in round 3 of the Vanua Challenge competition on Saturday. Head coach Watisoni Ratulevu says their goal this season is to win every game convincingly by treating each match as its last. Luciana Tangedakimba reports.
The mighty Northland side will not count Mboa out, despite the wins in the last 2 matches in the last round.
With the performance of the boys so far, after the 2 games and preparation for this week, I already told the boys that it won't be easy, as Mboa, we don't know about Mboa at the moment, and we have to work hard in order to win the game.
Coach Watisoni Ratulevu says with a complete new set of players, the side is confident to play to the best of their ability.
Working together with the new players, I didn't find it hard because our training this year, I just dealt on basic in rugby.
Captain Isimeli Nevalundua says they will not underestimate the Mboa team.
Mboa has been playing in the division for a while, and we give him all respect when it's due. We are looking forward to giving Mboa a good and challenging game.
The Northland rugby side will host Mboa on Saturday at Coravo's Gatwood Park. Luciana Tangedekimbao, FBC Sports.
The Lautoka football team has left for New Zealand for its first leg OFC Champions League final clash against Team Wellington on Sunday. Lautoka is only the 3rd Fijian team to make it to the Champions League final, and the Sugar City side hopes to be the first to win it. Vasnil Prasad reports.
Working towards creating one of the biggest history ever in Fijian football, the Lautoka side knows what to expect against one of the regular teams in the OFC Champions League.
It's a big thing for us, especially for a team like Lautoka. Not only representing Lautoka, it's representing the country as well. It's a big feeling for us.
With midfielder Zibra Saheb out, seasonal players like Beniamino Matinengara, Colinio Sivuki, Pranil Naidu, Dave Randringai and Brian Kaltek will lead the pack against Team Wellington on Sunday.
We're playing really well. We know what Team Wellington is good at, and we expect a tough match from them.
For coach Kamal Swami, there are still areas to work on before the first leg of the final.
We can say like some players were not up to par, so we need to know that they have to come, and it's very important. If they don't respect football, football will punish them.
Lautoka is on the verge of putting Fiji on the world stage, and it will only become easy for them if they come up with a win in their away match at 2 p.m. on Sunday. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
In today's play of the day, Mark Williams pulled off one of the greatest shots in snooker history at the World Championships without even looking. Williams found himself in a spot of bother tucked up behind the blue and black and looking to hit the green in frame 7. He later went on to win the championship, beating John Higgins 18-16 in the final. That's it from Sports Tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful, the multi-billion-dollar clean meat industry that's making meat without animals. Confused? Well, you can find out more after the break.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na radio Fiji 1 and the moi viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kung minasong futikola, ndo talita kana radio Fiji 1 kina ndo moi viti.
Yang kuya zo sila tale, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasabale, nagunturong varorong na radio Fiji 1.
In your media tonight, the waterproof LG G7 ThinQ has an AI camera that gives your photos an extra boost before you snap them. Weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It has been a great sunful Tuesday. Absolutely loved how the sun turned out. No complaints. But our nights are getting cooler, so stay warm. Taking a look in the west for today, sun was amazing, great for sun bath. Eastwards from Pekaba to Suva, great day with great sunshine as well. And up north, oh boy, I'm just loving how the sun is reaching out and beautifying everything. At sea, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots with moderate to rough seas. For the tides, high tide at 1:27 a.m. with low tide at 7:22 a.m. Sunrise at 6:22. For tomorrow, another beautiful day is lined up, surrounded by light showers. Tomorrow's temps, majority centers will be in the high 20s. And looking further on to Thursday, we might have to face showers, so get ready with your gears. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji Pulse tonight, we ask, should there be a heavy penalty imposed on those who attack police officers?
Because they are doing a lot of job, shouldn't spend more time on this kind of accident. They should be penalized.
Yes, because they protect the law.
Yes, because they serve the public and protect the people.
I think it should be given a heavy penalty because people today are different, you know, from olden days. You know, people do respect for officers, but today people they don't have any respect. You know, giving heavy penalties will give some people a lesson, you know, to respect the officers.
Yes, they should be, because the police officers are law enforcers.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, mandatory life sentence for Timothy Lolo here, climate finance to be treated with urgency, and anomalies in Education Ministry's 2016 audit report. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment this week, we are asking, should heavy vehicles be banned from being on the road during peak hours? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day. sent in by Seru and Upinisa. This picture was captured from Neil Field in Nandi. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Wrong on the radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo tikola untuk tali tak na radio Fiji 1 kena Domoy Viti.
Kaya ko sila tali. Nagurara may naomanyi nandunga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu kena sebale pun nangguntur rongo. Barong na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.